Hello everyone. Today is Monday, February 15th. We are doing e-learning. I know the Edpuzzle is kind of starting off with some directions and other things, but I want to make sure that you know your expectations, as well as we're going to continue on with math because we need to continue going through these box plots and get into our other types of graphs so we can progress through those and not just do language arts, okay? So for today, a couple of things. Don't forget your IXL math. GG23 is to a score of 80%. I have that pulled up on my screen here. Generally, when you get to around a score of about 54, it's going to give you a question like this. The earlier questions are about the median. Remember, that's the middle line. Upper quartile, which is the upper part of the box, quartile 3. Lower quartile, or Q1, which is the lower part, range is your highest minus your lowest. You should be able to get to those pretty easy. Once you get to this, which box plot represents the data, you have to look at here and it gives you these numbers. What you have to do, and you can go ahead and pull up the IXL while I am kind of talking through this, you have to put your numbers in order from least to greatest because that's our first step. And then 1, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20. I have 3 20s. So you can kind of start on one of these while, like, split your screen, be doing this at the same time here. 20, 20, 20, 25, 30, and 35. Okay. Then I find the median, count my numbers into the middle. Middle. I want you to see the time, the process that this takes. It's okay. It's what it should take. Okay, my median is 20. Well, both of them have 20 as my median. Okay, well, my upper quartile, or it has my highest number is 30, but this one, my highest number is 35. Well, I know based on this that my highest number of 35, so my answer will be this chart. All of them are kind of different. It might ask you what the quartiles are, but you have to find what's the difference between the two. This one was my highest number, so that's my answer, okay? So then once I get closer to 82, this one is a question where it has information up here, and it says which city has the lower medium temperature. Well, I find my median here, that's my middle line. Well, my green one here is lower than my pink one, so that's going to be Hooverville, okay? And then I have another one where I'm going to have to figure out, so I'm going to pause my video and get my numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, I have my numbers in order from least to greatest. I know that my handwriting is terrible. It's just really hard to do. So I'm going to count my way in to find the middle. So this takes time. You will have to go through the process of doing this time. Okay, my middle is 4753. 47. So my middle, where did I mess up? Okay, I see where I messed up. It should have been these two numbers whenever I was crossing them out. So I would have to add them up, divide by 2, and that would give me 4,500. So I know that this is my median. So this top one is going to be my answer. Okay, let me clear off here. I'm almost to 80, okay? I want to show you that I can get to 80% and so can you. So he works at this flower shop. He recorded what percentage has fewer than 6, less than 6. And on the paper that we did on Friday, we talked about each section is 25%. So that would be 50% because this section is 25%. This section is 25%. It's 50%. Okay. The box plot represents which data. Again, I have to put my numbers in order, so I'm going to pause my video and then get my numbers in order. Okay, so I put my numbers in order from least to greatest. I found my 2 middle numbers. I have to add them up, divide by 2, which would give me 60. I'm looking for the one with 60 as my median, so I know that this bottom one will be my answer. I should have one more that I have to get right here, okay? And again, I have to put my numbers in order from least to greatest. I know that I'm expecting you to do this, but I hope you're working on the IXL while you're watching my video. All right, I listed my numbers out, put them in order. Notice that, like, I wrote them out. I use this little extension up here, get a piece of paper, use the homework paper because we're going to get ready to get to that. put them in order. I counted to my middle. I got these numbers, add them up, divide by 2, which would give me 12. 12 is my median, so these two are the same. It's all right. What is my highest number? This one says 20. This one says 18. 20 is my highest, so I know that this number is going to be my correct answer. I've got to 82%, okay? That's what your goal is. So be working on that while I'm kind of going through my next instruction. Those of you that were already to 80% before we started, I appreciate you listening to this as I went over just a few more examples. Okay, in Google Classroom, I have this post with the materials. If you don't have this paper copy, you should all have it if you were at school on Friday. About this box plots notes, you need to get this paper out of your backpack, out of your folder, because I'm going to collect it to see the work that you did with it along with my video. If you were at home on Friday, then you went to file, make a copy. You need to find this copy so you can continue writing down the notes. I would do this all on paper. So if you're at home, you could just write down the examples on paper also. Make sure you watch last Friday's video if you didn't get to this, okay? Couple of quick things before we get into our math again. Don't forget that your book response, you need to be working on that, okay? On January 21st here was my quarter 3 book response information, okay? On your paper, we had written down that the due date for this was going to be March 6th. That is actually a Saturday, so I don't know how I messed that up. The 5th is going to be for the slides. March 5th is going to be for slides. But February 24th is going to be the due date for paper, okay? So this paper copy filled out is due by the 24th. That is next Wednesday. So making sure you read. Do Mrs. Reilly's reading challenge this week, 20 minutes, and get through your book, okay? And I'll remind you about this every single day. Back to math. Here we go. Yes, last week on Friday, we got through the first page, and then we did number 1, okay? Number 2, we're going to put these, our steps. First step is putting the numbers in order from least to greatest. I'm going to pause my video so I can do that. All right. I have my numbers in order, so you can go ahead and do it on your own, or you can go ahead. I know I told you to get out of the habit of copying mine down, but you can do that here since we're not in school. And then I have you need to number your number line here. It's really hard for me to write on here, but know that this first line is 120, this next big line is 130, the next big line is 140, the next big line is 150, the next big line is 160, the next big line is 170, the next big line is 180, the next big line is 180. So make sure you fill in those numbers. And then I'm going to go ahead and cross this out while I find my number in the middle. I'm wanting you to write down every single thing that I write down. So make sure that you have your work, you have this crossed out to where it's the numbers in the middle. 5, 5, okay. My median here is 140. So I'm going to go above 140 and I'm going to put that dot. Some of you made your dots a little off. So like notice how I do mine. I want you to create that because I'm going to check how you guys are creating yours. I've got 140 above here. Now I need to find, let me do check marks for my quartile 1. Quartile 1 is going to be 130. So I'm going to put a dot above 130 with my line in between it here. Find my quartile 3 is 150. So I put a dot over 150 also. My first 3 dots is when I make my box. So I'm going to make this. Notice that my box touches all of these lines. Here's my box. Now, on my list of instructions, we didn't have any outliers the other day, but I need to figure this out real quick, okay? So I find my IQR, which is my quartile 3 minus my quartile 1. So that's 150 minus 130, which is 20. Then I take 20 and I take that times 1.5. So if I get out my calculator here, I've got 120 times 1.5, which gives me, 20 times 1.5, which gives me a total of 30. So 30 is my number that I have to go above and below, okay? So 30, if I take 130 minus 30, do I have any lower than 100? Nope, I have no low outliers. So my lower extreme is just going to be my dot here, and then I'm going to add on my whisker. Now I add it to 150. 150 plus 30. Any higher than 180? Yes. 190 is actually an outlier. So above 190, I have to put an asterisk here, and that does not add it to my whisker. Now 170 becomes my extra whisker. So I do my dot and out to 170. So this is what your box plot should look like now because I have an outlier at 190. Great job. Make sure you pause this video if you need to before I go on to the next one, because you're able to pause Edpuzzles as you go through it to copy down all my work. All right, that was the only one you had to create a box and whisker plot for. So these next ones should go a little bit quicker, okay? This box plot shows the attendance of a fitness club. Find the median and the measures of variability, which is our range, IQR outliers, okay? It asked me for my median. Ooh, now this one's tougher. It is between 70 and 75. So I'm going to do 70 plus 75 divided by 2, just like any other median that I would have. So what is my median for number 3? All right, you should have gotten an answer of 72.5 because adding them up and divided by 2. Make sure you get a calculator out. Okay, first quartile. You should know that it's the bottom part of the box. So what is my first quartile for this graph? You should have got an answer of 65 because 65 is below that first quartile. Third quartile. What is the value for my third quartile, the top of my box here? You should have gotten an answer of 80 for your third quartile. Now the range, I take my highest number, that includes my outlier, my highest number minus my lowest number. We're going to say that this value here is going to be 56 to make this easier. So take your highest number minus your lowest number. What is the range for this graph? You should have gotten 54 because 110 minus 56 equals 54. Okay, IQR, remember IQR is quartile 3 minus my quartile 1. So you're going to use your values from up above. Quartile 3 minus quartile 1. What is your IQR? Okay, if I subtracted 80 minus 65, you should have gotten 15. Outliers, you're looking for the numbers that have that asterisk above it. So what are my outliers for this graph? You should have gotten 110. That is the only number that is up above here, okay? A description, I'm going to verbally give this to you. Actually, I'm going to type this in, and I'm going to have you write down my description here, okay? So both whiskers are about the same without the outlier. So you're going to write down this sentence, okay, on your paper without the outlier. So the data is spread evenly above and below the tiles. Make sure you write this sentence down so that I can check that and I can take that grade for it. Both whiskers are about the same without the outlier. So the data is spread evenly below and above the quartiles. Great job. Be sure to pause my video so you can write this down. All right, continuing on for our last 5 questions here. I'm looking at this graph. It shows average prices and cents of eggs and wool. How do the median egg prices and the median wool prices compare? So on this, I'm going to look at my egg median here is right about this line. My median for my wool prices are around here. So how do these numbers compare if I'm looking at them here? All right, you should have said that they are very close because looking at these lines, they are very close together. So I'm going to put they are close. I want you to, if you missed it, that's all right. If you got it correct, that's great also. I still want you to write in the answer here that they are very close. Okay, B, how do the range in egg prices and range in wool prices compare? So I'm looking at the range here. Well, I'm going to have to look that. I go from 140 minus, let's say, about 30. So let me scroll up here a little bit here so I can see. If I have 140 minus 30, that's going to give me a range of 110 for my wool. If I look at my range, I have, let's say, about 80 and about 20. 80 minus 20 is only going to be a range of about 60. So how do these ranges compare? You should have said that the range of the wool is greater than the range of the eggs, or the range of the eggs is less than. So let's write down this one together. The range of the eggs is less than the range of the wool. Write that sentence down also, okay? In the wool prices, what quartile shows the greatest spread of data? So we are just looking at the wool prices here. Which of my quartiles, okay? So I know that I have, this is my first quartile, my second part, third, and then my fourth quartile. Which one shows the greatest spread? Which one is the biggest? First, second, third, or fourth? You should have chosen fourth quartile. So make sure you write down that answer. That has the biggest spread, fourth, okay? D, about what percent of the data for wool prices is above the third quartile of eggs? So look here. I've got the third quartile for eggs here. That's almost in line with the median for my wool. So I have this section and this section. We know that each section is 25%. So I'm going to do 25% plus 25%. So about what percent is above that third quartile? Great, you should have chosen 50% as your answer. In general, do farmers get higher prices for eggs or for wool? And justify your reasoning. Okay, so if I look at these graphs, these are prices. Are farmers going to get higher prices for eggs or wool? Which one seems greater? Okay, you should have chosen wool. So I want you to write down this answer though for me with the justification. Wool has higher prices because over half of their prices are higher. If I look at my graph here, more than half of them are higher than eggs. So wool has higher prices because over half of their prices are higher, than eggs. Write that in. Make sure you keep this paper to be able to turn that in. Make sure you finish your IXL to a score of 80% and be reading. Hopefully I will see you guys this week, and enjoy the rest of your day.